procedure complete.
Good morning, everybody. They're on stream. Hello, Steve. Hello, Geert. Nice to see you guys. Uncle John, as usual, is leading the pack. There he is at the runway, and he wants me to see his takeoff. So I'll get back in my cockpit and do my pushback shortly. I'm ready for that. But I just want to see what he wants to show me just quickly, and then we'll take it from there. Hope you guys had a good Saturday.
Approaching 2-3 center. Way 2-3 center.
I'm just going to show you the same. Hello, Rob. Hello, Andy. Right, Uncle John, I hope we can see what you're talking about.
Thrust set.
You didn't set your barrow, by the way.
Sorry?
You didn't set your barrow, but don't worry about it. Just go. Talk us through.
Once I've engaged autopilot, then I'll look over the wing.
Okay.
V1. Rotate. Positive rate.
You're on heading select. It won't turn, eh? You're going to have to turn it or go to LNAV.
My apologies. Hold on. See how it's not smooth? You won't distract yourself.
Cairo, 356, taxiing to runway 23 center via Charlie 1, Sierra 2 Tango to intersection Tango 6.
So you don't like the idea that the wing moves up and down during the turn?
No, I'm looking at the end of the wing, the tip.
Look at the what?
I'm looking at the very end of the wing, the tip, where it's going to go. I have to admit that was not as pronounced as it has been. So that didn't really solve the problem.
Okay. Well, we'll try again when we land or something. There's turns in the landing. You know, we can look at it again.
No, it's always on takeoff. After that, it's fine.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll try again next time then.
Okay. Thanks, gentlemen. Have a nice, enjoy the coast flight.
Okay.
Bye.
I think we're ready to go. Cairo traffic Skymatix 001, push and start.
Starting the pushback, you may start the engines in sequence.
Start number 2 engine.
Pushing back or starting up?
Starting number 2 engine.
I have a slight problem I haven't told you guys about. I have my cat on my lap. I have no idea how I'm going to do this except for just picking her up and putting her down. Shame. She's been lying here for quite a while now. Huh? Een beetje aftel. Shame, she's purring. Daddy, how can you do that to me? Leave me. Leave me.
25 and 2. Starter cutout.
Start number 1 engine.
Starting number 1 engine.
But while we're waiting for all of this to happen, let me also tell you quickly, this is a newer version of xEnviro yet again. So for you guys that have it, this is getting closer to release.
25N2.
It's also the first time I'm going to try this one now. We got it early this morning. Very early, I think 4 or 5 this morning. So
Operation complete. Please set the parking brake.
Andre said he did quite a lot of work on it
Disconnecting the tool. Please stand by.
since yesterday. So I'm looking forward to seeing it in flight.
Starter cutout. Engine start procedure complete.
Before taxi procedure. Hello, Marius.
Before taxi procedure.
Sorry, my little
Before
catty
taxi
watty.
procedure
There you go.
complete.
Time for me to fly.
I am ready for before taxi
Morning, Tommy.
checklist.
The tool is disconnected and the bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the left-hand side. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
I'm not taking a chance with this stupid thing again.
Ready for before taxi procedure.
Good morning, Neil. The pin. Right, so Cairo traffic, Skymatix 001, taxi holding point for runway 23 center via Delta Sierra 1 and Tango. Skymatix 001. Morning, Krister. Let's go.
Cairo traffic, 11 08, taxi from Delta 7 via Sierra down to Tango 1 for runway 23 Charlie.
Cairo traffic, Skymatix 356, lining up, runway 23 Charlie, 23 center. Cairo traffic, Skymatix 356, taking off runway 23 center.
Yes, Chester. We haven't been there in a while. And I wanted to use my new scenery that I bought a month or 3 ago already here in Cairo. This is the Time Models payware. I wanted to use it, and that was a good place to go to from here. So I said, yeah, let's do it. Before takeoff procedure.
Before takeoff procedure. Before takeoff procedure complete. Ready for before takeoff checklist.
Cairo traffic, Skymatix 356, airborne, passing 1,700 feet.
Before takeoff checklist.
Before takeoff checklist. Flaps.
Flaps 5, green light, detent.
Flaps 5 set, green light, detent. Stabilizer trim. Cabin crew, take your seats, prepare for takeoff. 5-2 units set. Transponder. TARA set. Before takeoff checklist complete.
Cairo traffic, Skymatix 001, line up and wait, runway 23 center.
Approaching 2-3 center.
Runway 23 center confirm.
On runway 23
I am ready for your takeoff.
center.
Thank you, Linda. Take off. Take off. If she hears that, no, she doesn't hear it. Doesn't matter. Does not matter. Sometimes she does, sometimes she doesn't.
Stabilized.
Toga. Alright, traffic Skymatix 001 taking off runway 23 center.
Takeoff thrust set. knots. Throttle hold. V1. Rotate. Positive rate. Acceleration altitude.
Cairo, traffic summary 008, lining up runway 23 center.
Flaps up and set.
And hold.
Approaching transition. Transition altitude.
Good morning.
So,
Hello.
how are you doing?
All good, you?
Yeah, all good. Nice to hear your voice again. Sorry I had to
Yeah.
run yesterday, man. I felt so bad, but anyway.
Don't worry, don't worry. I was trying to fix the problem with the microphone, but now it seems fixed, basically.
Good.
I just put an adapter, so it should work.
Okay, yeah, you sound perfect.
Good. Thanks.
I've just taken off here from Cairo. Have you ever flown into Cairo in the real world?
No, never. I flew near it, but we don't go there.
Okay. I was just looking for an excuse to try the scenery because I bought the Cairo scenery when it came out a month or 2-3 ago. I can't remember, but I've never used it. So I decided to fly from here now.
Okay. Yeah. Of course, Nico, if you hear any echo, because as far as I understood, is independent of the dog. If you hear any echo, just shout.
I will do.
Okay.
There's no echo now.
That's good.
I have good faith that
Flight level
yeah.
100.
it's not going to happen.
Landing lights
We've
switching off.
solved it.
Let's hope. Yes. So you're going to Santorini. Lima Golf Sierra something. Sierra Romeo?
Romeo? Yeah.
Yeah, I go by memory. But let me have a look at the charts. Let's see what we can do. Let's have a look. Oh, JTR, yeah, I remember it. X-Gun, 1 Echo, or 1 Delta, RMP34. Nice, fine. Oh yeah, it used to be 1634, now it changed. Now it's 153.
Yeah, 1533.
Ah, it used to be 1634 until at least 1 year ago.
Okay.
When I used to fly there. And We used to fly. Are you going for runway 15 today?
Yes. VOR DME.
VOR DME. Interesting. You are on a live. Do you want me to talk, or I don't know if you have any other
You
plans?
do your story.
Yeah?
You the guest. You lead the way.
Okay. So VOR DME is nice. That's fine. But consider commercially as an airline, you will go for the safest kind of approach. So if you look at the RMP runway 15, it's kind of more precise because that's something that most of the streamers don't know. I don't know if you have the chance, Nico, to stream the habitat, the chart in the streaming. So we're gonna show, or we can wait top of climb, no problem.
Yeah. I don't mind. I'm looking at it now. I've got it on my separate screen. We can start sharing the stuff now.
Yeah.
Just want to quickly see.
Thank you. Runway 23 center.
So the last point for you is.
Sharing my screen, Sasa.
Oh, thanks a lot. So it's GIVIS and then it's runway 1 expected. Good. So basically, if you look, the GIVIS 1 Charlie, which is I guess the approach you have, the star you have loaded.
There's no star loaded. No, there's no star loaded. If you take VOR DME, look, it picks it up from GIVIS already. And it takes you all the way. So we removed the star because the star in essence was just this line up to the VOR and then it became the rest.
But it depends. That's what probably SimBrief gave to you. Now, what I wanna say here is what we do in real life in terms of safety. So if you look at the charts, there is a star that is called GIVIS 1 Echo. Sorry, GIVIS 1 Delta. For runway 15. The last one, 10 to Delta is the chart.
Yeah, I got it.
Now that star bring you from GIVIS directly to LECRA, and as you can see, LECRA is the initial approach fix for the approach runway 15. So now from LECRA, if you go into the approach charts and you take the VOR 15, okay, you are missing LECRA.
Yeah.
VOR 15, usually we start from the VOR. But now if you look at the VOR 15, if you look at the vertical profile that goes down to the runway, can you see that the last waypoint is a Delta 2.0, Mike Alpha 15?
Yes.
That means that the legs page will not have the runway point. It means that at some point, once you disconnect, you will have to recycle the flight director.
Okay.
And also look at the glide, it's 3.3 degrees.
Yes.
Now look at the RMP 15 instead. The RMP 15 from Sierra Romeo 444, you start a glide of 3 degrees and you have the runway point. You see? It says runway 15.
Yes.
You will not need to recycle the flight director. So commercially, in terms of safety for the passengers, we try to go for the safest approach.
Gotcha.
In order,
Makes sense.
ILS, RMP, VOR, NDB, visual approach. Yeah?
Makes sense.
If I was the pilot, I would go for the GIVIS 1 Delta that brings me directly to LECRA. From LECRA, load the RMP 15, transition LECRA, job is done.
Okay. So then we do that. I'm going to change it in the FMC now as well.
Yeah. Think about, guys, really hot summer day. The difference between a 3.3 glide and a 3 degrees could be a lot.
Yes.
That's what the chart says. But when you have high temperature, a 3 degrees glide could become 3.3. A 3.3 glide could become easily a 3.6, 3.7. So you really want to watch out for this. There it is. Lycra, GIVIS 1 Delta. I think there was a
Set
Sierra
and
India
then
Tango.
GIVIS.
No, Unifor Lima 607.
Wait. Where are you talking about? We,
So look at your
according,
streaming.
yeah, no, according to my route, it's SIT, then GIVIS, then LECRA, which is exactly what I had to fit in now. SIT,
Okay.
GIVIS, LECRA.
No, I was
So-
just looking at your route in the streaming at the top, the banner there. It says Unifor Lima 607.
Yeah, we need to change that. We'll need to change. We get
Yeah.
the banner. That's a nice to
Okay.
have, so we don't care for that.
That's
so
it. Now if you step
operationally,
through the point,
Yeah.
you see Lycra, instead of you see it does a bit of overshoot there.
yes,
So
yes,
Lycra, I wanna can do it during the cruise, but for sure I can already spot a problem there with that magenta line. So what I wanna do, at Lycra, I wanna come already with 200 knots or below. So I'm gonna set that in the FMC.
Well, we can do it
Extosi.
now. How much do you want? 200 or
So-
below, or what?
Lycra 200 or below, because that's basically your turn on base. And Exosi, you want it at 180 or below, because that's when you get established on final. So the last thing you want over the sea is to get some tailwind, and you are then with the speed brake and everything behind the aircraft. You want to stay ahead of it, so we want
Yes.
to reduce the speed early on a planning stage.
Gotcha.
And now if you go after the Sierra Romeo 444, I bet there will be the runway point. If you go into next page,
Yes.
there it is. So no need to recycle the flight director.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
pleasure.
Morning, Vaughan. Nice.
And then it will be LNAV VNAV approach. So you
Mhm.
fly it the same way as it would a VR approach. The difference is that the RMP is more precise usually. I'm not saying every RMP approach has the runway point. I'm not saying this. But most of the RMP approach are created because you can create custom waypoint, and so usually 90% of the RMP approaches they have the runway, which means it will be a more precise approach. In terms of minima as well, it doesn't make any huge change. You can see on the RMP 5 charts, the minima still an LNAV only minima, which means is not considered a precision minimum, so we will need
Gotcha.
to correct that minima plus 4. But at least in terms of lateral and pitch guidance, we have the runway waypoint, which is gonna give you a better descent profile towards the runway.
Good. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sasso.
Welcome. Was because I finished.
1000
Well,
to
I
level
have
off.
another 4 days of work until the end of the year. And I was doing the other day the logbook, and I was checking how many hours of training I did, and roughly how many cadets and pilots I was part of my. And I can see around 300 to 350.
Wow. That's a lot.
Oh yeah.
But you like it. You love it still.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Good.
And the last block I got 2 days, 2 different students completing their initial part of type rating. So they went into the exam to get their type rating, and it was a joy to see them going through it. It's nice. I think
That's
the
good.
best
That's
thing
good.
is when you see the student starting and then progressing towards daily
Mhm.
training.
Yeah, it gives you a sense of accomplishment as well because you helped.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
That's nice. Nice one. And you are now in Italy, based in Italy, eh?
Yeah, I'm based in Italy, yeah.
Okay.
Also, something else I want to share here. If you look at your green bag, okay, we are at cruise level,
Mhm.
LNAV, VNAV, FMC speed, so highest level of automation.
Mhm.
If you look at the green bag on the upper view, the green bag is indicated by the thrust mode annunciator, which at the moment is cruise, just written above it, cruise, Charlie Romeo Zulu, at the top of the upper view.
Yeah.
So this means that the auto throttle, if needed, the auto throttle will advance maximum to the green bag. You need to think, guys, as the green bag as a wall. The auto throttle will not go beyond the green bag, even in an emergency situation. So now what we want to achieve here when we are in the cruise is the opportunity for the auto throttle, if we encounter turbulence or something, or wake turbulence, to get more thrust, give more thrust available to the auto throttle system. And to do this, if we go into the N1 limit page, you will see that cruise value at the moment is a 95.2, but the continuous rating is 99.0. Maximum continuous thrust is the thrust, as the name said, that you can keep continuously. Okay, there is no limit to maintain if you are maintaining the continuous thrust. So some companies, including mine, when we are at top of climb, we set continuous. So if you press now continuous, Nico, what you will notice is that on the upper view, now we can read continuous and the green bag moved to 99.5, which means now that our wall of auto throttle limitation is now higher, so the auto throttle will have more capacity to compensate for any need, basically. That's something good to do, especially if you are expecting turbulence.
I was pressing to push to talk and talking and saying good morning and so on, but
Good morning.
it was not a push to talk.
Oops.
So morning.
Good morning. Maybe Nico is on push to talk now, or he's not talking.
Yeah, it's push to talk here.
No. I muted my
yeah.
my mic because I was yawning in the middle of your nice talk there. I didn't want to spoil it with a stupid yawn, so I just quickly muted the mic.
Okay.
It's funny. This morning, 6 a.m., my body woke me up and said, "Okay, it's enough. Get up, get going." Then I started working, and I started fiddling with X-Plane and all kinds of things, and then. Now that I'm sitting and doing nothing, now I just want to yawn and sleep. Ay, like a stupid. Thanks, Tommy. I wonder what happened to Laurie. Why on earth am I so close to him? He took off. I gave him his 3 minutes. Now we're almost on top of each other. By the way, Sasso, this is the
Yeah.
latest xEnviro test model I've got here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, much improved. Got new snow in it. It's got new nighttime lighting. Kind of nice and really nice.
How is regarding the frame impact?
No, FPS is all right, but the GPU utilization is still a bit high. So
Okay.
I'm not sure if they can do anything about that. But yeah, for FPS, I'm pushing 54 at this moment. Not a problem. Not for my system, but we'll have to see what they do when they release.
Okay.
Right, I think I'm gonna go make myself some coffee quickly. Will you guys excuse me?
Yeah,
Don't worry.
no problem.
I'm gonna take control. I monitor it.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
cool. All right.
Yeah, in
Thank you.
the meantime, Sasso can tell something interesting again.
Okay. 100%.
Yeah. What do you want to know? Tell me.
No, what you just told me, what you just told us about that N1. It's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm flying a short flight from Kyoto to Tokyo now, because it's interesting weather there.
Okay.
And it's yeah, gusting of course there.
Of course.
And I thought, yeah, sometimes I thought, well, why can't I push it a bit higher for a while, you know? And now you told me.
Yeah, that continuous thrust is a nice tool to have, because in this way the throttle will have more capacity
Yeah,
to compensate
of course.
for any
Yeah.
speed. Let's have a look here. Anyone in the chat, if you have any question, easy one. Just because I'm missing Nico, so we cannot paint. But if you have any
An easy one?
any curiosity,
No difficult one?
Let's see. Krister
Has one.
Info Lima Golf Sierra Romeo or similar Iceland is also teardrop or visual considered. I would say there is nothing wrong with the VOR and with the teardrop procedure. Or what, especially, let's say, today maybe is a nice day, it's okay, it's no high temperature, it's light wind, happy days. So we can take the teardrop, we can do the visual, we can do the RMP. But if we think about the specific procedure, if you look at the VOR, there is no runway point, so you will have to recycle the flight director. Plus, usually, the VOR being based on the VOR, sometimes it might be that the VOR is offset. Instead, an RMP approach will be aligned with the runway. So that's something else to consider. If I start to have not okay day, but I start to have maybe 2 kilometers of visibility, so it's a bit fosky, and I'm coming maybe against the sun as well, so I'm landing with the sun in front of my eyes, between an offset approach and a perfect align approach, I want to take the perfect align one, just because all these sum up to create a more difficult approach. Visual approach, yes, usually is a company policy when you can conduct a visual approach. In particular airports like these, you really need to have good experienced pilot to conduct a visual approach, just because when you build the visual approach profile, you need to be careful with any terrain, because visual approach means you are taking your own terrain separation. But as well, when we build the visual approach into the navigation display using the legs page, we want to make sure we don't build a new path that will give us terrain, pull up, pull on. So it's just more difficult to organize. Usually, simple rule, if there is no visual approach for that airport, or nobody does a visual approach, don't do the mash, or don't try to do a visual approach. Possibly, if no one did a visual approach, it means that terrain will not allow, at least for a simple visual approach. So don't complicate life. Logan, how much tailwind is allowed before I should change my approach? It's again company policy. Boeing says maximum tailwind allowed usually is 10 knots. Some particular runways can receive, not by Boeing but by the company, can receive the approval to go at 15 knot tailwind. Now Lima Golf Sierra Romeo, I'm pretty sure is a maximum 10 knots tailwind approved in approach. That's the number I would give. 10 knots. Yeah.
But the maximum is 15 knots, Sasso.
No.
Well, in
not
fact,
the
it's
maximum
18 knots, but I mean.
Yeah, exactly. Then it could vary with the runway, with the difficulties and such.
Yeah, when it's a long runway, you can do 18 as well.
Yeah. It's then down to company policy.
Yeah.
Whatever they decide.
Yeah, but normally with an ILS, you use that 10 knots as
Yes.
standard. Yeah.
Yeah, 10 unless otherwise instructed by the company document.
Then I've got a question then.
Yeah.
So in real life, they used to take the first available exit on the runway, yeah, isn't it?
No, always. We aim, especially in some particular airports, we aim to do minimum runway occupancy. So we plan to vacate when we can. So if we need to decide between an auto brake or another auto brake, maybe instead of rolling towards the end of the runway, we want to take the exit towards. Right? But it's not always the case. It depends. If we have the parking stand, which is closer to the end of the runway, then we plan to vacate at the end, but we just ask the tower confirmation for it, because we don't want to create then a problem if tower has another plan for it. So
yeah, but I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, but in practice, it's get off the runway as soon as you can. That's the practice, isn't it?
Yeah, but this doesn't mean do an hard braking or do flat 40 even with gusty wind, you know. We take
because in relation to that, my question was, in fact,
yeah,
how much reverse thrust do the pilots use normally?
Okay, so the reverse is something that mainly will aid the brake cooling. Okay, now if you do the performance on a dry runway, same condition, same everything, same flap, and then you put no reverse credit, which means that we're gonna deploy the reverse but not use it the 10 to 1, 2 or 3, you will see that the landing distance required is exactly the same as if we land with the reverse all operational. Okay, so on a dry runway, use or not use of reverse will not make any major difference. The major difference will be in the brake cooling. I give you some numbers to understand. No credit landing with flap 30 auto brake 3. Normal day with maybe 20 or 30 degrees. Brake cooling 35 minutes. Okay, roughly. Depends on the weight, it depends on the slope, all this kind of stuff. If we do the same performance, exactly the same, but we insert the use of reverse, which means that when we land, we deploy the reverse up to maximum reverse, then the brake cooling time will be dramatically reduced. It will go now to 7 minutes, for instance. So, the use of reverse is mainly for a brake cooling purposes on a dry runway. Okay? We need to do a quick turnaround. We need to use the reverse because, of course, we need to keep the brake, let's say, cold and ready for a subsequent approach, for the subsequent departure. If we start to put contaminated runway, start to put a wet runway or contaminated runway, then you will see that using or not using the reverse will impact as well your landing distance required. plus your brake cooling. So it's just a combination of factors. Keep it simple. Usually, if we are on the last landing of the day, or maybe we know that the aircraft will not depart for the next 40 minutes, if we have no problem of landing distance required, then we tend to leave the reverse to idle, just because brake cooling will not be a factor for us. If instead we need to do a quick turnaround and we aim to be again airborne or ready for departure in less than what the brake cooling says, then we are going to need to use the reverse. The reverse will dramatically reduce your brake cooling.
Yeah. Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah. Nothing to do with the distance, but just cooling the
with the distance,
brake.
yes, but only on a wet or contaminated
Yeah, when it's wet.
runway.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm back, but you can
And
continue.
in general they use about 40%.
No, so when you select idle, as soon as you move the reverse to the idle position, that's the idle reverse. Then you have the detent 1, which is around 45 to 50%. Detent 2, which is around 70%, and the full reverse, which is around 80 to 83%. Okay. The performance, when you say, okay, for brake cooling I need reverse, the performance takes into account at least second detent, means a minimum of reverse at 72%.
Okay.
So
Nice.
I'm not saying that when you land you don't deploy the reverse. You always deploy the reverse, but it's just the intensity that is different. If you deploy the reverse and you leave it at idle, that's what you need to do on every landing. Because if you need the reverse, then at least they are there ready to... Nico, what's happening to the altimeter? Then they are ready there.
It's just a barrow change. I don't know, it's not supposed to do it, but yeah.
So that's what you do. You always deploy the reverse. And as well, especially on a contaminated runway, you never close the reverse until top is assured. That's the rule.
Nice. Yeah, clear. Nice, thank you.
Welcome.
Now I'm going to push back.
Did you answer Vaughn's question here on the stream?
Yes, I did. It was regarding tailwind and the freester as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I must say, you're a better co-pilot than Linda is. Yesterday, she went to sleep on us. You should have seen it. I've got a screenshot. I'll send it to you. She was lying with her neck broken here next to me.
I bet I don't look nice as Linda, but yeah.
You're more functional. That's all that counts.
So,
yeah,
we're on a short runway. We come down and we come down too hard, so we bounce.
Yes.
What would you do?
Go around.
Yeah. Okay.
Immediately. So as you bounce,
even if you had a touchdown, you just bounce. You go around.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Is actually something that we train, and all the pilots are trained to do it, especially captain. Is the bounced landing recovery. What you're gonna do when you bounce the worst thing you can do in that situation is close the thrust levers. If you close the thrust, so let's think about the configuration of our aircraft. During the landing checklist,
you land on your nose, don't you?
no, the opposite. So
Oh.
basically, when you do your landing checklist, you are gonna have the speed brake arm, okay? Now, the condition for the speed brake to automatically deploy in full during a normal landing is a thrust lever closed, a radio altimeter less than 10 on the NG, as far as I remember, and 6 on the max, and the weight on wheel system, so the air to ground logic that says you are on the ground, which means that the wheel receives the strut of the landing, okay? If all these conditions are met, then the speed brake will move to the fully up position, which is the normal landing. Now, if you do the bounced landing and you are back in the sky and you close the thrust levers in an attempt to recover your landing, what is going to happen to the speed brake?
Yeah, dramatic, comes up.
They will go all the way to up, but you are in flight. What is going to happen with this? You are now with a noise high situation. More lift is going to be killed by the speed brake. The tail will drop, and you're going to do a tail strike. You're going to land on your tail.
Yeah.
So in that situation, what you want to do not close the thrust lever, but instead press toga, advance the thrust to 90% minimum, and start the go around.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be my solution as well. Didn't think about that auto brake anyway, but
auto brake is the last of the problem, because as soon as you advance the thrust, or if you are back in the sky, nothing is going to happen with the auto brake.
The speed brake is the killer.
The speed brake,
Yeah, the speed brake is the killer. Speed brake is the killer. Remember, on every go around, what I don't want to see is the speed brake light. On every escape maneuver, windshield escape maneuver, terrain escape maneuver, as part of my memory items, memory action, I need, as a pilot flying and as a pilot monitoring, to retract the speed. There was an accident where the crew was dealing with a problem, and they had an engine problem, and they tried to do the go around or something. Oh no, they were going against the terrain, against a mountain. They started the terrain escape maneuver, but they kept the speed brake halfway to the flight detent. They crashed into the mountain. And the investigation says that if the speed brake would have been retracted at the appropriate time, they would have cleared the mountain.
Yeah,
so imagine
oh my
that.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because sometimes you have that bit of a hard landing and you see your plane bounce, but it tends to go nose down. You know what I mean?
It tends to go nose down if you shut the thrust levers. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what is gonna happen if you do a shallow bounce? If you do a shallow bounce, you come back just a little bit in the sky. You have you're not performance limited in terms of runway and such. What you can do, you can re-establish, just maintain the landing attitude, keep the thrust lever where it is, land again. Once you are on the ground, then close the thrust levers. Again, for the same principle of the speed brake.
Yeah, that's what I do normally. But I mean, when it's a short runway, you can only use
runway?
you need to land on 1/3 of the runway, so you'll be halfway.
Yeah.
Okay, clear.
You do a shallow bounce, hold the landing attitude, leave the thrust where it is, land after the main landing gear touchdown, then close the thrust lever. So you will see that the speed brake immediately will go all the way to full. If you do an hard bounce and you go back properly in the sky, or if you are performance limited, no question. Go around, flat 15, Secoram thrust.
Zaso?
Thank you
Yes.
very much, Sasso.
Welcome.
Just
Yeah,
again,
Nico?
it's the order of business is ILS, RNAV, VOR, then NDB in terms of accuracy and automation and stuff.
Yeah, most of the time, yes. There is a question there from Steve.
That was the one we're talking about.
Yeah, ILS, AirNav, NDB. No, VOR, NDB. Yes, that's what Nico wrote. What
Yes.
Nico wrote is correct. ILS, AirNav, VOR, NDB. Yes.
Yes, sir.
As well, guys, going back to this RMP approach, Nico, if you look at the tact chart, okay, where you have the aerodrome layout, let's say, with the runway they made, can you see the width of the runway?
Give me a second. Let me just finish this thing
Yeah.
and we'll go there. What did you say? What do you want?
If you go into the tax chart and you have a look at the airport and parking chart.
Just change the share window. That what you mean?
See? Yeah.
There's,
So
yeah.
if you look at the width of the runway at the bottom, when he says width, just there where you have the mouse, if you look at it, he will say what the width of the runway is. Now, usually, our eyes is used for a 45 meters runway. Okay.
Alright, but
This is 30. Now, the illusion as a pilot, when you are established and you see the runway, if the runway is less than 45 meters, the illusion will be that you are high. In other words, tend not to flare or to flare late. So it's very difficult on a 30 meters runway to judge your descent rate only by looking outside. In other words, if we always maintain the scan of our instrument on a normal approach, it's even more important on a 30 meters runway to maintain our rate of descent all the way down. Because the tendency will be, oh crap, high my, let's pitch down. Because the focus outside is not 45 meters by 30, so it will look to you as if you are higher than normal. Make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you need to trust your instrument, maintain the rate of descent all the way stable to the runway, and that's why using an RMP with the runway point could help us more than the VOR in this case.
Understand.
Okay, and then you really have to trust your GPWS. 50, 40, 30, between 30 and 20, start your flare. Because you will see, no, if you just focus with looking outside with your visual reference, you are used to a 45 meters runway. So you would say, no, that's too early to start the flare. But no, that's a 30 meters runway. So these are all stuff that we briefed during before starting the descent.
Yeah, that's all
something
good
always
stuff.
to watch out. Malpensa, for instance, Malpensa Airport instead, the runway is a 60 meters. So that's the opposite. On a 60 meters, you will have the illusion to be low. So the tendency is to flare early than normal. Okay?
That's interesting.
On a short runway, are you authorized to brief? Keep a little below the path to have an easier flare? No, Anto. We always try to have and to maintain the stable criteria, which means 2 reds, 2 white. The thing is, if on very, very, very short final, once you are focused outside on touchdown zone, you go briefly 3 reds, the correction there to be done is almost nothing, because you are so close to the runway that a really minimum input on the control column will means a huge change outside in the nose of the aircraft. So in that case, it's really, really minimum correction, just a little bit. Possibly, if you just squeeze in 1-2% of thrust in without moving the control column, this will bring you again back on 2 reds to white without touching any control column. But yes, we always aim for 2 reds to white all the way towards the touchdown zone. Yeah.
Excellent.
So I'm waiting Nico a phone call. What's your estimated landing time?
I'll have a look now.
Yeah, no worries.
1018. What's that?
9:44.
Yes.
Okay, 9:44 Z, which means 40 minutes. It means you're gonna be possibly start the LECRA. Actually, if you go 1 second in Lex page, please. Route data. And scroll until you see, LECRA 09, okay. So LECRA at 37. We should be good. We should be with you by LECRA.
Okay, so you're gonna leave and then come back?
I'm gonna stay here, but just muted because I will be on the phone.
Okay. Right, 'cause Vaughan has
now
got
I'm
a
still
question
here.
about dew point for you as well when you come back. Okay.
No, I'm here. I will just inform you when I receive the call. Question regarding, can you explain dew point? The dew point is the temperature where a particle of water basically gets saturated. So the dew point is when you, to keep it simple for us pilots, is when you can start to have a condition of moisture, when you can start to have saturation of the air. In fact, when the outside temperature is very close or even coincide with the dew point, you can start to expect maybe foggy situation. You can expect the rain, stuff like this. So that's what the dew point is for us pilots. You can expect a kind of a bit of deterioration in the meteorological condition overall. I don't want to be too precise, but that's usually what you can expect with dew point.
Minimum score says done. Happiness is. So far, so good.
Nice. So, frequency minima courses, fixes.
Yeah.
Have you done?
I haven't done the fixed rings, if that's what you mean.
Exactly.
You want to do fixed rings.
Oh yeah.
Which point?
On an approach like this, so take the runway point. Always the runway point.
Yeah, but
Take
that's
the
not
runway
how.
point.
That's not how we teach the simmers. But we'll do this one for you because you're a real pilot. Okay.
No, it's just because to maintain our situational awareness. I'm gonna tell you why. On the navigation display, the legs page will transition into the next waypoint. So initially you will have Lecra, then Exosi, then the Sierra Sierra, whatever. So you are not gonna see the distance from the runway. You're just gonna have the distance to the next active waypoint. Make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
In this way instead, if we select the range rings from the runway, then we're gonna see exactly where we are compared with the runway. Yeah.
I understand that. I just don't want to confuse the simmers. But you go for it.
No, of course.
Tell me how to set your version up.
I would say on this kind of approach, /10, and even if we are in VMC condition, I will keep /5, just because it's a narrow runway. So I want to be established with the final flap and everything earlier than normal. So then I can start to focus. Yeah, then I can start to focus outside. Okay. Also, I don't know if you have Ian installed in this aircraft.
Yes.
You have. So technically you can fly this approach by pressing approach mode. But otherwise, what we're gonna need in an aircraft without Ian, we need to fly it with LNAV and VNAV. So we're gonna need to set our minima on the MCP latest by 2 miles from the descent point. Is a Sierra, whatever it was, for the run point.
Well, our decision height is 1530.
Yeah, but don't set it now. It's way too early. You wanna descend? Maybe now, if you really want, you can set Lecra maybe. Or you can set, technically, I know there is no ATC, but maybe you can set GIVIS. So what's the GIVIS restriction? I think it is 7,000 or above.
Yes,
by looking at the charts. Yeah. So what I would set, if I was you, I would have set 7,000. Also, look at the legs page. It doesn't say 7,000. It says a 70 or above. Yeah. So now he's treating that as a level, not as an altitude. Now to make it think and to make it calculate as an altitude, what we need to do, we need to set our transition level at 7.1. In this way, from 7,000, it will start to think as an altitude. That's it. The same page, forecast 7.1. Boom. Execute, go back on legs page. I promise you, it will say 7,000. Bang. Okay. So especially when you have now 1013, 1018 is not a huge change on the Q&A, but still you want to be as precise as possible. The point where you need now you have Ian, so happy days. But the point where you need the latest point to set your minima is the Sierra Romeo 444, because after that waypoint, going to next page, you can see you have the glide path and the runway point. Yeah, so that's where VNAV is calculating your descent profile towards the runway. Meet the runway at an altitude of 170. So now what we need to do and what we can do, especially as a single pilot steamers, take a Sierra, whatever it was that waypoint, take it, just select it, fix page number 2, put it there, slash 2 miles. So by 2 miles at the, before the Sierra Romeo 444, so in other words, when crossing that green line, we can set the missed approach altitude, the minimum descent altitude, which is 1,600. Make sure we are in VNAV path, or in our case, press approach mode. The job is done. So all these stuff are to increase our situational awareness.
As long as you talk us through it, I'm happy.
Thanks.
Hey, Nico.
Yeah.
And if Ian doesn't work, it's also.
The what?
We don't
And
need
if
to
Ian
use
doesn't
Ian.
work,
No, I don't know who Ian is. I don't know this
yeah,
guy.
that's what I'm telling you. And when
Yeah.
Ian doesn't
No.
work, what then?
Well, we won't use Ian now. We'll just go El Navina.
Oh, okay.
That's
okay.
it. That's it. Yeah, let's go El Navina. That's the proper aircraft.
I thought you were going to
All
approach.
these
Okay.
bloody Ian and stuff are gonna just reduce the pilots on board. You know this is gonna happen. Just
Yeah, you need to
bloody
be
don't use
trained,
it.
yeah, also. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. What I would love is a bloody heading select to maintain the track and vertical speed to maintain your profile. You need to do your mental calculation. That's what I want to teach the pilots, not to
Yeah.
press approach, you know?
Calculate
that's the
calculate
problem
constantly.
of today. Yeah, that's the problem of today. Just teaching them to press buttons, not actually talk through it. That's what we need to do. Because then, that day that your FMC is gonna say, bye-bye, I had enough for today, insert coin, game over, then you need to use this. You need to go in vertical speed and you need to do heading select to maintain the track. So you need constantly to correct for wind as well. And you can perfectly do it. Heading select and vertical speed.
As long as you keep training it.
Yeah. Now the problem is that I'm expecting the call at past. That's exactly 7 minutes before, like. We'll see.
No. Good timing.
You either increase the speed, you join the all.
Vaughn's got another question.
What are situations for flap 40 landing? So, flap 40 means more drag on the wing, which means that you're gonna need, for the same condition of landing and same landing weight, you will need less landing distance. Okay? So if you are performance limited, of course, between flap 30 and flap 40 will give you less landing distance required.
Ready for
Also,
descent procedure.
flap 40, and this is modeled in the Zibo, we did a work on it. Flap 40 landing means that your cutoff angle of the nose compared with the runway more pronounced compared with the flaps 30. In other words, flap 30, you have a certain angle between the seating pilot and the runway. Flap 40 will be more, let's say, the view of the runway will be more clear. So especially if you're doing low visibility approach, or if you have an overcast at 200 or 300 and you're doing a cut 1 approach, it's better to have a flap 40 because your seating position and the nose of the aircraft will be more in a towards the runway, let's say. So flap 40 will give you a better visual once you become visual with the runway light. Will help you to spot the runway lights. But in general, if we are talking about Cavalcade day, easy day, good visibility and stuff, the main difference between a 30 and a 40 is the landing required. Flap 40 is less.
Short runways.
Yeah.
Right, well, top of descent is 32 nautical miles, and then
good.
We're going to practice what we preach.
Yeah, sure. Do you have anyone behind you?
Let me just check. They are. I'm just not sure how far. Yeah, no, quite a distance behind me, yes.
What I'm thinking is, if they are doing the VOR-15, they will go directly to GIVIS and then do the teardrop, I guess.
No, there's no teardrop on 15.
So how are they gonna get from the VOR to...
On that VOR DME approach that I had initially, takes you from GIVIS all around to the runway, basically. So they're going to have a magenta line. No, but they're not landing
overflying the VOR,
33.
kind of.
Yeah, they overfly.
Yeah, they overfly the VOR, they go out on the 008, then turn inbound towards Korak. Yeah. Track miles wise, it should be less for them. So you're doing technically a slightly longer procedure, I'm saying.
Gotcha.
That's all. Anyway, just plan ahead. If something happens and I will be on the phone, plan to leave l'ECRA with at least a flap 1. Okay, that's why we put 200 knots. Descend initially to the platform, which is 3000, and then plan to turn inbound towards Exosi with flap 5 at the flap 5 speed. And then as you approach those 2 nautical miles from Sierra, just set 1600 and make sure the FMA says enough path. That's all you have to do.
And speed intervent, huh?
And speed intervent. Then, as you cross the Sierra and the aircraft nose down to follow the glide path, configure the aircraft. Gear down, flap 15, keep going with the landing flap, and then you do the landing check.
Cool.
In this case, we are gonna set the missed approach altitude passing 1000.
Gotcha, bless you.
My God. Passing 1000, so crossing the 1000, which is top of the wide band on the altimeter, gonna set the missed approach altitude, which I think is 3000. So you keep descending the minimum descent set.
Yes.
Till 1000 over.
Will do.
Then my suggestion is, once you become visual, don't disconnect. Trust your instrument. Flight director will remain on, but even when you disconnect, follow the flight director.
Thank you, sir.
You have the touch.
We're gonna try our best. Yeah, we're gonna try. There's the path coming in. There's the descent.
The reason why I said to insert the ring from the runway is because on a non-EAN aircraft you will not get PFD there, the distance of the runway. On a non-EAN aircraft there are no indication from the runway point until you get the runway point as the active waypoint.
Gotcha.
In your case, like treating as a ILS, so it's giving you a distance of the runway threshold. I'm not completely sure. I think this is giving you a slant distance actually. So yeah, so that's something to watch out. Look at the track miles on your FMC. Track miles you're gonna fly is 100 and something there. 107. The runway point on top of the PFD says 67. So actually what the EAN system is giving you is the slant distance. a segment from the runway directly to the airport. So these should coincide if you go in the fixed page with what the runway point is there. You go on fixed page, the top line 64.7, you see? So the top line runway 15, that's the distance. Okay?
Gotcha.
And as you can see, coincide with what the PFD is saying. So the PFD is giving you, this Ian system is giving you a direct line between the aircraft and the runway. Not giving you what you are gonna fly, just giving you a direct line.
Okay.
So of course we know that a 15, between 18 and 15 nautical miles from the runway we wanna start, but in this case I'm not gonna configure when it says runway 15, just because in reality I'm gonna fly outbound and then back inbound. Does it make sense? I'm not doing a straight in approach. I need to overfly the airport, go outbound, then turn inbound.
Then back, yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's the difference between track miles and the point. Because in fact, if we were doing a straight in approach, if you do 3 times your distance, so 3 times 6 or 55, should be around 155, 160, so we should be at level 160. We are extremely high.
Yes.
But in fact, in terms of track miles, we are doing what the FMC says on progress page, which is going to be, what, 18 nautical miles roughly from now? 92, because there is a bit of acceleration. Remember, 3 nautical miles, usually 3 times your distance, plus a bit more to accelerate. So it makes. Go on legs page again. Okay. Well, if you look at the navigation display, you see it says still says level 70 or above, but in the legs page it's actually correct. Go on QNH for me, please. Set the QNH because we are descending towards an altitude. And recycle GIVIS on top. Select GIVIS. On top again. Good. You see, now we recycle to 7,000 or above. Good. Nice. Enjoy the view.
There's not much to see here. The flipping clouds are all over.
Okay.
Little halo.
I see. I use the Ian situation 40. Also probably path above 3.3 south of plus 40. Yes, Santo. Yeah, that's true. It really depends because remember, maximum speed for flap 40 is 162. Maximum speed for flap 30 is 175. So if you have a path which is more than 3 degrees, go back to what we were saying at the beginning when we need to choose the approach. Especially in high temperature situation, your descent, your true glide path be more than 3, more than what the chart says. You really have to plan ahead, drop the gear early, get established with the final flap early enough so you can use in case flap 40 if needed. Yeah. VR is a teardrop, but in church known as an ILS. What's the latest wind on the ground?
Give me a second. According to meter I've got is 040 at 5 knots.
Okay, that's fine then. So after crossing GIVIS, if you look on the Lex page, what you can do, providing you stay in VNAV, is 1 nautical miles from the active waypoint, set the next restriction. So in 1 nautical mile from GIVIS, at the moment we are at 2.6, 4, 3, blah, 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 blah. 1 mile from GIVIS, you can set the next altitude. And then make sure you stay. See? Going now to VNAV B, that's the common, because you are getting ion power. So, set the next altitude. Perfect. And then I will say, he's already in VNAV, but he's in VNAV speed. All what we need to do now, we don't want to increase the speed, the sequence, use the brake, fly the 10, until the FMA goes back fast. These will be your best friend for this application. VNAV. Common VNAV works that when the aircraft is within 200 knots of the path or 0.2 G, fly the descent, VNAV speed will transition back fast. No bug, it's how the real aircraft. Get the terrain button on. So application display so you can spot it. Good. So you can see there we are at 250 now, and we have the circle in front of us that will be the now you are back on VNAV path, so you can slowly slow the speed brake, but always monitor that. Goes high again. So we have the first circle, means if you look at the VNAV descent page, you're gonna transit to 5100. And then later on the second circle will be aim for 200 knots at LECRA. So you will see at the first circle the aircraft, without touching anything, the aircraft will start to slow down, being the magenta up. What he's saying to you is, I cannot go straight to 200, go to 200, I need some flap. This is what 200/flaps means here. So what is going to happen now, the VNAV will reduce the magenta automatically, as it's doing now, but will stop at the up speed unless we extend the flaps. In other words, Nigo, when your speed is around 220 to 15, you can go flap 1.
Flight level 100, landing lights switches on.
Hey, it's Uncle John below me.
So you see, we are all flying the runway, and look in fact at the distance of the runway, 1.6 reducing. This was the direct line between us and the runway.
Yeah.
There it is.
But yeah, I didn't have a balloon with water filled up, I could have just dropped it there. Where's your deceleration?
Approaching
marker?
transition.
That's it, yes. This will be the deceleration to meet those 200 knots.
Mm-hmm.
So then again, Nico, 1 nautical mile from LECRA, you look at your legs page and you set the next restriction, possibly still 3,500.
Mm-hmm.
So effectively, 1 nautical miles from Exosi, you're gonna set 3,000. See, that's why we never set the minimum descent already at top of descent. We wanna set it step by step because these will help your situational awareness as well, knowing where you are laterally, vertically.
Gotcha.
Transition level. Ready for approach checklist.
Good. This is the deceleration. What I will do, open speed intervent and reduce the speed to the up speed. That's it. Bit of speed brake, that's it. So we help the aircraft to decelerate quicker. Then as you are approaching 220, 215, throw the speed brake and go flap 1. And you can match the speed on the
Flaps 1 set.
good. As soon as you have flap 1 green light, match your rating. So what I would say, you are single pilot, set directly your heading towards the runway. So the runway heading is a 154. Set directly 154, so we keep it simple because we are in single pilot. Also think logically, if you lose the FMC now, the first thing you want to do is just press heading select. So the aircraft will continue the turn towards the final.
Yeah.
Good. We are good, we are on speed. I keep constantly looking at the wind. It's headwind, which means it's good for us. If it was tailwind, probably I would have gone already flap 5. Because it's headwind, we are good. Now that's a second problem. Look at the traffic there in front of you. You know what? Let's go flap 5. Keep the distance from it. Good. Now we set Exosi is still 3,500. So because we are in VNAV, we are not planning to change mode. Set now 3,000. So the aircraft will descending, will not level off. That's it. Now we just wait the turn. Those glide, kind of glide and lock, which in fact are the final approach hooks and the glide path, are part of the Ian. We're gonna disregard that today. Use old school LNAV. But we're gonna see they should match up anyway.
Let's check QNH 1017.
Okay.
Thank you, Tommy. All right. So shouldn't we go down on that MCP altitude now?
Not yet. It's 2 nautical miles from Sierra Sierra. That's why I put the small circle at 2 miles. You see there?
Yeah.
That's the latest point where you can set the descent. You can set it early, but that's the latest, usually 2 nautical miles. VNAV is already in approach logic. How can you see it? Because there is LNAV arm, the FMA. So it means that VNAV and LNAV recognize you are conducting an approach. In other words, you cross your initial approach. Now look at the speed. It's increasing. Flap 10 and a bit of speed. Flap 10 is the same speed of flap 5, but will give you more drag, so it will speed better.
1000 to level off.
Good. Now I will say, otherwise we start to get busy. Set the minima, 1600. Good. Then we are in VNAV path by looking at the FMA. Speed intervent is open, so that's good. The aircraft will fly down following the LNAV and VNAV position. As soon as we cross Sierra Sierra, we start the descent, gear down, flap 15, then we go for the final flap. Okay, you can slow the speed brake, or let them armed already. Good. Now, the aircraft, as you can see, the glide and the VNAV path are matching up. So the aircraft too soon will start the descent on those 3 degrees glide. Now, gear down, flap 15, do the landing checklist. Or actually, what I would suggest, Nico, go flap 30, so keep your deceleration, so flap 30, match the landing speed.
Ready
We
for
reduce the
landing
speed
checklist.
first, and now you can do the landing checklist. At least we are at the lowest.
Right, okay. So we've got flaps 30,
1000 to
green
level
light, 3 greens,
So
gear
I'm
is
gonna
down.
tell you, start the switches, continuous.
Oh, well, it's on continuous, yes.
Press the recall,
Yeah.
that's check. Speed brake arm green light, and in gear down 3 green, to brake 3 set. Then
Yes.
press init ref,
In a ref.
yes, init ref on the FMC. You can see there flaps are 30, and then 30 on the flap lever indicator, and green light, which means we are at the final flap. We are just holding at the landing lights. So as soon as the runway is free, stick the landing lights on. Happy days. So go back on legs page, so you are ready for a possible go around.
Cabin crew.
Santorini traffic,
Take your
Skymatix
That's
seats
your
prepare
V4
for
back coming
landing.
there.
located runway 15.
So be ready to disconnect. Disconnect, but follow the flight director. Keep descending, don't level off.
Decision height.
Okay, the flight director for some strange reason went into VNAV alt. Press approach if you can, but keep descending. Keep your rate of descent and press approach. Good. Now the flight director is good. Keep flying the flight director. Good. Small correction. Nice.
1,000 feet stabilized, missed approach altitude set.
The pylon monitoring would set the missed approach altitude for you at this time, but you can forget it. That's what we have. Missed approach altitude.
Approaching 1-5.
Can you see the runway, Nico?
It's too bright.
Oh wow.
No, I can't see
Okay.
that runway.
Okay.
Okay, now I can see it. I've got it. I've got it.
Good. Don't focus outside. Keep the flight director. Don't focus
500.
too much
Clear to
outside.
land runway
Now
15.
center line. Take the center line by looking outside.
400.
But
Yeah.
keep your rate of descent by looking inside. Rate of descent inside,
300.
center line outside. Rate of descent, center line. Squeeze a bit of
200.
thrust in. Just a little bit. That's it. Keep descending. Touchdown zone between 30 and 20. Do the flare.
20. 10.
That's it. Just hold. Don't pull. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it. It will sit down.
Speed brake up.
Oh.
Reverse unlocked.
I hope the auto brake are working.
Yeah, it is.
Good. Happy days.
Yeah.
So I will receive the call now. I will be at the gate later on with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, good timing.
Great landing.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You are professional.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This man makes you work for your money, huh? Tell you. Sasso knows exactly how to put the pressure on in the nicest way. My palms are sweating.
100.
Santorini traffic Skymatix 001, runway vacated. Wow. After landing, oh no, it's not listening to me. After landing procedure.
After landing procedure.
Yeah, look, it's all part of the fun. I enjoy it, but it is so different, you know, than flying on your lonesome self. Nobody's checking you, and you're just doing your thing.
After
So
landing
good,
procedure
so different.
complete. Flaps up and set.
Okay, thanks for joining us. Cheers, Peter. Stay well.
Ready for shutdown procedure.
Shutdown procedure.
Shutdown procedure.
Santorini, Status for runway 15.
Welcome, Tommy. Sasso always makes it absolutely nice, more nicer than me. So it's always wonderful to have him here.
Shutdown procedure complete. Ready for shutdown checklist.
I didn't concentrate that much on this runway being narrower, only 30 meters. It's also one of the reasons I'm quickly coming back here, so we can appreciate it, you know. I mean, you can clearly see it is narrower than the normal runways we used to.
Hello?
Yes. Oh, you're back.
Yes.
Good.
How was it?
Fantastic. I loved it.
Nice. Nice.
I was
Yeah.
telling the guys, you always make it nice and interesting when you come, Sasa, when you're around.
I try. I try. There's my gift for Christmas.
Good. Thank you.
Thanks, Tommy. That is a demanding boss. I love it.
I told you before that teaching is streaming through your veins, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
You can see how it became a busy approach on the very last.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, you know, immediately you need always stay ahead of the aircraft as best as you can, with the good preparation, reducing the speed at the appropriate times, respecting the speed you have set. So if I set 200 knots at what it was LECRA and 180 at ECDIS, I want to respect those. I will not accept any deviation because otherwise you start to run behind the aircraft. Then there was a problem with the VNAV, which I think is because we didn't set the missed approach altitude at the appropriate time because we got busy with the approach. VNAV will not go into VNAV alt or alt hold, providing you set the missed approach altitude. So if we would have set the missed approach altitude earlier on, so after you set the descent to 1600, once you are below 300 feet or more below the missed approach altitude, you can set the missed approach altitude. The aircraft will continue descend in VNAV path. This is what we didn't do because we were busy with the approach, and that's why the aircraft went in VNAV alt. That's why then I told you press approach, because now we reverted to Ian software, and Ian kept descending and giving you good flight director indication.
Makes sense.
Still, with the RMP, you had the good flight director pitch indication towards the runway. So once you become visual, the worst thing you can do for every approach is just focus outside. Don't do that, guys. If you wanna increase your handling even on a simulator, you become visual, concentrate still inside, but keep including the center line by looking outside. So what I'm effectively doing is before, when I'm not visual, the scan is all inside, fly the flight director and the thrust. Then once I start to become visual with the center line, which is the first thing you're gonna see, then I include my center line into the scan. So I look outside to keep the center line to cut my body, but still inside to maintain speed and my rate of descent. So I do these triangles: center line, speed, center line, rate of descent, all the way until I have clear in front of me the touchdown zone, which are the two white markers. At that point, I start to focus more. I'm not saying I focus only, but I'm saying I focus more into the touchdown zone. So I keep touchdown zone now, speed, touchdown zone, rate of descent, and then as I'm approaching the 100, focus 100% outside towards the touchdown zone, and then 50, look at the end of the runway, 30 and 20, do your flare. That's the process. Oh,
That's really nice. That's really nice, Russell. Yeah.
Welcome.
Well, gents, that's it for me then. We can stop the stream. I know there are two more guys coming in. One is way off still. That's poor old David from New Zealand. Sorry, David. And I don't know who the other guy is. I closed my web eye too quickly. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. If I get a chance, I might actually stream later on again. No promises, but I'll have a look. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Bye, bye all.
Bye.
You, bye.